As you guys know, I'm a professional boxer. Been taking, took a couple boxing classes in the last couple of weeks, and I'm pretty good. So if you see me on the street and like you got a problem, like I highly recommend to. And so yeah, I went to a boxing class a couple days ago, and I had this coach before, and I really enjoyed him. He's really cool. He's like part-time rapper, part-time poet, part-time trumpet player, pianist. Matt cool. Until this experience that I had with him, and like I don't know how I felt about it. I'll just get into it, right? So although I'm a professional boxer, sometimes it's hard for me to keep up. Like sometimes I'm not up to par. Off days, we all have off days, right? I was having an off day for this class. It was me and three other women who, were also fairly, well established boxers in their classes. And so we're going about this class. It's a very like vigorous class. Like there's like no breaks to it. We have like one break that's like a minute in the very middle, and it's like an hour long, whatever. And so we're doing it right, and like he notices I'm kind of having like an off day, blah blah, whatever. And so we get to the break. We take off our gloves, and I'm having a drink of my water. Essentia only. I drink my water, go to put my gloves back on, and I'm having some difficulty putting my second glove on because y'all aren't boxers, so y'all don't know this, but like it's easy to put on one glove because you got a free hand, but then it's hard to put on that second glove because you don't got a free hand, you got a gloved hand that you're trying to glove the other hand with. Feel me? So I do, just as we're taught in class, ask for help when help is needed. So I went up to my coach and I was like, "Yo, can you just tie this for me?" And he looked at the glove, and then he looked at me, and he was like, "Come on, yo, like all the girls put their gloves on by themselves, and you can't." And I was like, "Got me there, my boy. You got me there, my boy. I'm not gonna lie." And then from like that point on, throughout the whole class, she just like referred to the class as ladies. He was like, "All right, ladies, time for burpees," or "All right, ladies, let's see some shadow work," or "All right, ladies, bring out the bags." Whatever it is, he kept saying ladies, and like you could tell, like he meant that. He said that to piss me off. He was trying to piss me off, and I get it. I showed a little bit of weakness halfway in, and he just wanted to pick on me a little bit. And the first time he said it, I was like, all right, whatever. Funny, ha 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 ha. The second one, I was like, ha ha. And I like the seventh one, I was like, come on, my boy, you're dragging it. This is a lot. And I had to pause for a second and be like, damn, like, am I getting my feelings hurt? Like, is this really affecting me? Although I did realize, like, I did like box better, like after he started saying that shit, and he would watch me a little bit more, and like I knew I was doing better, I knew I was improving, so whatever. And then like the class ends, and I plan on like approaching him and like being and like telling him I appreciate him. I wasn't gonna like bring that up, but like if he brought it up, like whatever, I just want to tell him like I appreciate him for like pushing me. And I didn't get the chance to. He just kind of like I don't know where he went after the class, whatever. But yeah, but the whole day it was really going on in my mind. Like I was really trying to process, like, how did I really let that affect me? Like oh, it's so stupid, but like I saw myself getting kind of upset in the moment, so I started thinking about the topic of this episode for this week's episode of Difficult-ish, where I'm alone, solo. This week's episode is on criticism. But before we get any further, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if y'all listen on streaming platforms. Thank you for listening. But I need that review. I need that rating. 5. Please don't give us anything lower than that. If you give us like I hate the people that are like honest reviewers. Like the only reason we ask for a review is for a 5. You know that, but it's like, oh, like I'll give it like a 4%. Why? Just give it, whatever. If y'all didn't know that, she wanted to keep it a secret, but there's no point. I'm gonna just say we're in Bangladesh right now. We've been in Bangladesh or I've been in Bangladesh for a couple weeks when this is coming out. I think it's coming out like a month and a half later. Mad in the future. because we had to pre-record a bunch because we're going on these trips and life is kind of crazy in February. But so yeah, I'm out here right now, and I was trying to think of different things to talk about, and I was heavily influenced by this again real world event that happened. So let's talk about criticism. What is criticism? How the way we interact with criticism changes and evolves as we grow up. And I'll tie back into being brown and how brown people are involved somehow and stuff. But let's get started. This won't be too long. I'll keep y'all for a little bit. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'm a little tired and I don't have a second coffee. So I don't know. So yeah, let's get started. What is criticism? Criticism is damn, I didn't do any prep for this episode. Y'all know what criticism is. Criticism is feedback from people, giving us feedback on something that we do. So but it's like if we're playing, a game of chess, and you go about a new an opening, but you only know until like move 3 because like you're not as good as me, but I know like the whole layout of the opening. I could criticize you for your chess skills, and I can be critical of the way you went about that chess opening, and of course I am. The same way that my boxing coach saw that I was lacking, I was not doing good, so he decided to be critical of me. And different types of people have different ways of being critical. As for me, let me think what type of person I am when I give criticism. I think I can be many different types of person when it comes to being critical. I think naturally, like the organic version of me that I would like to be when it comes time to be critical is I'm like brutally blunt, and like it's really hard for me to have a filter. And I think there's a big difference that we have to distinguish between being blunt and being rude. Okay, you could be extremely blunt. I know people that are extremely blunt. You know people that are extremely blunt, but they're not rude. And at the end of the day, maybe rudeness is it's felt differently by different people, but I think that I have the ability to be blunt without being rude, and I think that is the best way to be critical of somebody. But also, I can do the other side, which is being very like empathetic and being very like nurturing in the way that you give feedback to somebody. Like I've had teachers throughout like high school that saw that I was performing so poorly, especially like my senior year yearbook teacher. She was very, very, very nurturing of me, and I think that was a feeling that like I was yearning for from like somebody older than me, to like look at me and realize that like I wasn't doing the best, and to like not get mad at me, and to not like disregard me, to realize that like I have potential. I'm just not in the right circumstances, and she really like helped me out with just like real genuine care and real genuine like, yo, like I want to help you, like let's walk through like what's going on with you. Whereas on the other end, I grew up with a lot of guys that were the complete opposite of that, that would just throw me in the fire when they saw that I was doing something wrong, or always try to teach a lesson through like harsh discipline, whether it's like violent or whether it's like aggressive, or just like even like when it comes to like vocal and like how you speak to somebody. I've felt kind of like all spectrums of it, and I'm not alone in this. Like I'm sure everybody has dealt with blunt people, everybody has dealt with like loving people, and I think anybody can learn to love either one and anything across the whole spectrum, just depending on like what it is they're being criticized on, and obviously who is criticizing them. You don't want no random like dingo being blunt to you. Have y'all had that? I've had that happen before, where it's like you just meet someone and they're already hyper like critical of your character. I don't know you, my boy. I don't know you, my boy. And they'll take it as like you being sensitive or you not being open to feedback, but it's like, no, I just don't know you, my boy. I can deal with bluntness or like someone being hypercritical of me if I know you. Okay, so I've dealt with a lot of that before. I think when I was younger, and I think when we are kids, obviously it's very difficult for us to be for someone to judge our character and someone to judge how we do. Um, like I remember throughout middle school and stuff, if I was in any sort of like competition or any sort of like whatever, I was naturally like a poor performer, just because I just don't think I had the capacity to do things that I genuinely knew I was good at that time. I just couldn't. Um, and with me doing so poor, it came that came with a lot of like hiding, and like being like secretive and trying to be like mysterious of how I was like actually performing and feeling about a certain topic. So I remember like, I used to be in a robotics club, and whenever I made a mistake, I wouldn't ask for help. Whenever I made a mistake or whenever I didn't know how to do something, I would just try to figure out myself, because I didn't want somebody judging me, judging the fact that like I wasn't good at something. I was trying to avoid the criticism. And of course we know you can't avoid like you can't just ignore a mistake. It'll come back to you, and it'll bite much worse like the second time around. Same thing with like, if you fail a test, and you just try to make yourself believe that you didn't actually fail it, and you make yourself believe that you don't have to study for the next one, then you fail the next one, and then you fail the class. I did a lot of I did a lot of avoiding that criticism, whether it was like people being critical of me or me being critical of me. I tried to avoid it all, as do all children. If like when you're a kid and you break glass, like what do? You don't go tell your mom, mom, I just broke glass. No, you like try to ignore it. You like run away from it. And unfortunately, like I maintained that tendency for quite a while. Too long. Too long. Still a little bit nowadays too. And I think I think one type of person that we need in our lives is someone that that looks past the bullshit. I think that is a vital, essential person that you need in my life. Someone that recognizes you suck at being judged, but you need to be judged and you need help. And, I don't mean to put, just like a friend of yours, put like so much weight on a friend of yours' shoulders to like fix you. At the end of the day, like you got to fix yourself. But if you are going to have people around you, make sure that you got at least one person that just checks you, that just realizes like, yo, like, even if it's, of course, like checking is very much intertwined with this. Like, I think a lot of people don't check people the right way, because a lot of the time, like if I'm checking someone, I know I can speak from experience. Like when I was young, if I tried checking somebody, a little bit will come from like a place of like ego, like me trying to like one up on you, me being like, yo, I know this that you don't, so let me check you and tell you where you're doing wrong, but kind of to help you out, but also kind of to inflate my own ego. That is incorrect, and that is something that a lot of people are still stuck in, and I think that's what makes the checking pointless, because I think a lot of the time you can see through that, and I grew up with guys that saw through that, and I think that was like a big disconnect between like the way that I moved and the way that people moved. And I think throughout life we come to realize that there are so many things that that can affect our disconnection with accepting criticism and like accepting feedback from somebody. So, like, for example, I think in my life I've gotten very lucky, and I think a lot of things that have come to me have come through luck and just like a byproduct of like my belief and my prayers. And with that happening, when it comes time for somebody to judge you on something that you did wrong, a lot of time like I would just put it up to God and I would be like, yo, like if I don't fix this, it will get fixed regardless, and I will be good regardless. And I think a lot of time that gets in the way of like you and the better version of you, because you're not putting in like that work. You're not putting in like that 50%, like that work to get better, to get an opportunity to for things to get better, for things to change. Because at the end of the day, like, I look at who I was when I was younger, and I look at who I am today, and I'm very proud of who I am today. And a big reason how I've gotten here is just I became accepting to criticism, and I wasn't for a while, because something that my sister told me when I was like, it was my 21st birthday, um and at this time of my life, we had like kind of a rocky relationship. It's really complicated, but we were obviously cool, but we're so we've grown so much since then. But at that time, we were just talking, and it was late, and my sister told me something that like always stuck with me. She told me that, from ages 1 to 17, you kind of grow at like a linear pace, like this, linear, right? Y'all take math classes, linear. But when you turn 18, the jump from like 18 to 19 is no longer linear. It's like a little bit, it like spikes a little bit. And with that happening, when you reach 19, your ego can kind of spike too. You can think like, damn, I just grew up this much in a year. I'm the man. I'm the man. I got it. Like I just made this big jump. I got it. I'm so much ahead of people a year ago. I'm good, And then the spike from 19 to 20 is even like steeper. It's even more exponential. And then 20 to 21 is even more exponential. And 21 to 22 is even more. And that continues forever. And while she was telling this to me, I was thinking about my life. And I was thinking about like what were some of the driving factors for that for some of those personal spikes and those like exponential increases in my life. And a lot of it came down to really just being able to accept criticism from other people, accept criticism from myself, and do the work to get better. Because I think when we're at those ages, we kind of have to, we kind of, there's no excuse or reason to not improve as a person. And we all know people that thought they were perfect at 17. They peaked at high school. Like, without like a better way to say it, like, we know a lot of people that just haven't grown up, haven't gotten a lot better. And the backbone to all that is really being honest with yourself, allowing people to be honest with you, and really putting in the work to get better. So if like my boxing coach is if my boxing coach is listening to this, that should hurt my feelings, but at the end of the day, I appreciate you. It has helped me get better. At the end of the day, he was trying to hurt my massive male ego, and it slightly worked. It's something stupid to get upset about, but it did the job. And I took that criticism in a good way. So if there's anything I want to leave y'all with today is, we all have people in our lives that want the best for us. We all have people in the lives that are better than us at a lot of things. Like, I know I'm really good at chess, and there is nobody better than me, but I'm sure one day I might find someone. And when I do, I will be open to accepting criticism from him. And it's going to be hard because I'm the best, but I still know that, like, in order to get better at anything, regardless of what level you are at in it, you can always get better by the teachings of other people. And I think a lot of the time our ego gets in the way. We're human. We want to think that, especially if it's something that we have a lot of care and passion towards, we want to think we're the best. Like, it's so funny because I'm too much. Anyways, if there's anything I want to leave y'all with, please be more accepting to accept your flaws and your imperfections more. Don't get your feelings hurt by the things that you're not good at or like where you're lacking, because as we all know, nobody is perfect. Everybody is on a journey. That's why I love New York City. Like, New York City kind of, you have to face the fact that, you get on the train, and if you just get off your phone for a minute and just look at everybody in the train and look at everybody in the face, you realize that, just everybody is on their own journey. Everybody's on their own journey. You walk down the streets in New York City, and like you can feel the tension. You could feel like a bubble around every single person that's walking on the street, because you could feel, how much tension everybody's holding, how much everybody's going through. And I am so grateful for the people in my life that are just better than me at things. Like my friend Farhan has taught me so much about accepting literature and accepting poetry and becoming open-minded to just reading the work of people that might not come from like a similar background than me. That's something that we can also get messed up in, is with this whole representation thing. And of course, I didn't talk too much about like how being brown gets involved in it, but like just to touch on it, obviously, like, I, like, as a creative, always look for people that have like similar beliefs and similar previous journeys as I do, and I look for them for advice, which you should always do. But that doesn't mean that you can't obtain something from the fucking 6-year-old that grew up in the suburbs, or like the 79-year-old like that has like lived a very like calm life by the lake by the creek with the flowers and the petals. Like, you can obtain knowledge from absolutely every single corner of human existence, and that's something that my friend Farhan has helped teach me. And my friend Soham has taught me that I has really helped build my own confidence in myself. I would tell him like I can't do something because it's not me, and he would just tell me, like, he would help me be hypercritical of myself and my insecurities in myself, and question me like what is making you think that you can't become that person? Who is stopping you? Nobody is stopping you. Nothing is stopping you. You can become whoever you want to become. You just have to do a little bit of work. But honestly, the work kind of gets easy once you accept the fact that that's all you have to do, and so I can keep listing people off, but again, if I want to leave y'all with some, it's don't be scared to be hypercritical of yourself. Don't be scared to accept criticism from the right people in your life. Take a look at your circle. Take a look at the people that know more than you, and just put your ego aside and be okay with learning from them. I know, like, for my guys, especially when you're younger, when you're like 16, 17, 18, it's really hard to look at like your best friend who, like, deep down that he knows more than you, but like you look at him as kind of like an equal. I promise it's okay to like give him some flowers and tell him you recognize his strengths, and he's gonna do the same for you, and it'll just help grow y'all bond more, especially with y'all siblings too. For my girls, like, if you got an older sister, younger sister, older brother, younger brother, whoever it is, I understand everybody got rocky relationships, but take the time to realize, especially if you got an older sibling, your older sibling does things for your family that you don't know. At the end of the day, you don't know. You don't get it because you're not in their shoes. These older siblings really be doing a lot, and I'm saying this because I, as of very recently, as a 25-year-old grown man, have come to understand more of like what my older sister does for my family, and it just makes me more appreciative. And it makes me more willing to accept any sort of criticism that she would give me, because she knows things that I don't. I know things that she doesn't, and I hope that she becomes critical of me as well. But as for the older people in our lives, that sometimes it gets hard to accept feedback from them, because we as younger people want to be seen as their equal. We don't want to be seen as lesser than. But at the end of the day, like, they were born first for a reason. Like, we can't fight that, and there's no point to. So yeah, shout out my Boston coach. Hope he don't call me a lady again, because he gonna get these hands. Feel me? A professional boxer. I know he taught me everything that I know, but I'll still smoke him. I don't know why I'm lying, bro. Ramadan coming up. I gotta be a good Muslim boy. Anyways, that's all I got for this episode. Do I have 10-second advice? Do I? Shit. Y'all don't have to tip if you order takeout. By the way, save your money. Like, don't believe like these people. You don't have to tip if you order takeout. If you order takeout, they ring you the thing. They give you, here's your total, $17.83, plus tip. I'm good, shorty. I'm good. Sorry. That's my advice for you today. If y'all made it this far, please drop some fucking boxing gloves in the comments. I need that. Let me see those boxing gloves, cause I really got. I was about to say, I got these hands that draw my AirPods. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. And I love you. I said it. I said it. All right.